What's up, everyone? I felt like it was a good time to go ahead and put a little presentation together to go over some of the play opportunities and just some general server setup tips that I feel like everyone could use. I saw that a lot of you wanted the rundown, so that's why I'm making this video in part. And I will make more of these as well as we get things more organized. But where we stand right now is a very, very lucrative position, especially to scale wealth. And it's very easily done. The only thing that's not going to be able to be done for you is the art of learning your own personal risk, because everyone has different risk. Learn how to manage that risk and develop a plan that works for you. That can never be done for you. Not by me, not by anybody else. Everyone's different. Some things work better for some people, and other things work better for other people. So you have to keep that in mind. Trading is individual, although we are in a group. The actual execution is individual because only we know our own situations. So let's go ahead and get into this real quick. It's not going to be too long, but basically make the most of the server. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do to make this happen is set up the server how you want it to be set up. I hear it all the time. A lot of people will always say that there's too much information, there's too much going on. That is on you. You have to be the master of your own domain, and you're able to actually control what you see, which is the whole point of the Discord. It's not to throw all of this information in your face and make you confused. It's to give you the option when you want it. So, if you're not sure what something is, I wouldn't recommend having that channel turned on. I would turn it off and only turn on the channels that you want or that you feel like you can use or that you understand. So to make the most of the server, first, go to the top of the menu, make sure that show all channels is not selected if you're feeling overwhelmed. Once you have that turned off, just go through and make sure that everything is unchecked in this channel list here. And once everything is unchecked, you're not going to see anything on the left-hand side of your screen. It's going to be a clean slate. Now you can go through and turn on what you want. So if we want announcements, we click the checkbox for announcements. If we want questions or command room, we turn those on individually. If you want to follow an entire category, like the AI bots category, you just click the follow category button. Or if you just wanted the bullseye plays, click bullseye. So you can see this is a much more manageable way to go about the server, is simply going through the menu, picking out what you want. So if you just want the automated play feeds, pick the specials, bullseye, upside downside momentum plays. If you want some RSS feeds pertaining to industry news, you can turn those on as well. That's the beauty of it. It is 100% customizable by you. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, you're not understanding how the Discord is supposed to work, and it's just a minor fix, which is just going through and setting up the server how you want it to be set up. So if you don't want all the channels, you don't have to have them all. You can actually pick and choose what you want based on your interests, what you understand, or what works for you. Now, as far as play opportunities, this is what makes this group unique. We've grown pretty close as a group. There's not a lot of us. I haven't hoarded the group out to where we're just letting every man, woman, and child in the group that wants to trade, because that's not what we're about. That's never what we've been about. We've always been a close-knit group designed to only have enough members to sustain the data costs that we have every month, which is expensive. And again, you have to keep in mind the data that we are all collectively paying for individually is costing us pennies on the dollar as opposed to what it would cost us individually. So keep that in mind. We're highly undervalued price tag for a Discord. There's Discords out there that charge $100, $150 a month, and they're not offering anything like what we have here, or not even close to the quality of data that we possess. Keep in mind that all of these play streams are using top-notch real-time data, as well as some third-party providers. But most of it, other than the bullseye, is all in-house developed. It's all based on what we've all collectively experienced, learned, and figured out together over the last couple of years. So keep that in mind. None of this is magic. All of this has been carefully constructed based around what works. And then we have bullseye too, because, fuck it, it's bullseye. So let's look at the play opportunities that we have right now that I feel confident enough in to go over here in this video. And before we begin this, I just want to reiterate, you are the only person who can ever know when to sell, whether that be taking profits or cutting losses. No one else in the group should have that responsibility to tell you when to sell or, to cut losses or take profits. That is the crucial part of this whole process that we all must individually learn, which will all make us better traders in the long run. And once you have a plan that you can stick to, the rest of this is going to be super easy because you'll know your plan. And there's always another play. There is always another play, and there's going to be more and more of them coming to you. But you know me, I don't just create play feeds with shitty win rates. I like to back test things. I like to make sure that if I do put a play opportunity out there in the form of a feed, that I want it to be accurate, and I try to aim for at least an 80% overall win rate before I'm comfortable enough putting it out into the public group area. So again, this is very, very essential. This is not and has never been a hand-holding convention. I know we've had a lot of members roll through here that thought it was something like that you see in 99% of other Discords, but we are not 99% of other Discords. We are unique, and we have tools that basically no one else has because of the costs associated with it. So you have that to working to your advantage. First, we're going to bring in the only third-party one we have, which is the Bullseye Alerts. Now, these are provided by TradyTix. Again, just this alone costs twice as much that the group cost for FUDStop is. Individuals for this, I believe, pay $70, which is almost double the amount that the average group member here pays per month to be here. So just keep that in mind. That is how expensive this data is. And this is just the Bullseye. So when it comes to these Bullseye plays, they all say the same thing up top. They all say expected to pan out within 1 to 2 days. The reason that I don't like using third party is because we don't know 100% how this operates. We don't know, the intentions behind it, or, what's going into it as far as ingredients and how these feeds are being created. That being said, given the fact that we've had these feeds in and out, off and on over the past couple of years, the group seems to like these, and they seem to work pretty well as long as you pay attention to a couple of things. Really, in my opinion, just one thing, which is the AI confidence level. This is the only thing in this feed that I look at other than the ticker, because everything else is pretty irrelevant. The AI confidence level seems to be very, very relevant, and I like to personally aim for a 75% or above confidence level. And if the group would like me to modify this to where if there is an alert that comes in from Bullseye with that 75% or higher threshold of AI confidence, I can have it alert at everyone in the group when this happens. I just need to get some feedback from the group, and y'all need to let me know if that is something that y'all would like. Just kind of like the specials. Every special that comes in, everyone gets alerted. I can have that happen here as well. Whenever there is an alert that comes through with 75% or higher AI confidence. So I'll leave that up to the group. Just let me know about that. But that's the Bullseye. That's pretty much all there is to it. Again, when do I buy? When do I sell? And no one's going to answer that question. The best answer to when should I buy is when the feed comes in. And obviously, depending on which feed it is, because different feeds have different time horizons in place. But this one here, the Bullseye, quick in and out. I would consider it a scalp opportunity. So again, there's not really a time limit. It's just a matter of, are you hitting that threshold of losses that, you should probably take the loss and move on to the next one? Or are you sitting in profit and, are you ready to take the profit and move on to the next play? Because there is always a next play. Specials. This is, one of the more popular feeds in the group, and, it's all house-made feeds based on metrics that we've established that work. And running all of these options through a vigorous set of filters, making sure that we are only returning the most profitable opportunities that meet the specials criteria. Now, this is the feed. This is the latest one that came in today, the Mara $10 put expiring 6/16/2023. Now, there's a few things you're going to want to pay attention to when it comes to the specials feeds. And those things are, obviously, number one, the expiration date. If you are expecting, and specials is a little bit trickier when it comes to time horizon because, the expirations are kind of a mixed bag. Rarely ever do you see the 0 DTE show up here or, the ones expiring in the current week. They do happen, but not as much. This one here is a couple of weeks out or a few weeks out at the 16th. So keep the expiration date in mind. Make sure you're paying attention to what you're paying for. Because if you're buying a contract for the 16th and you're not in profit in 15 minutes, you have to keep in mind that a lot of that money that you just put down on this contract was for that time value. So if you're not in profit immediately and it's expiring a few weeks out, then patience, my son, patience. Pay attention to the expiration. The other thing you're going to want to pay attention to, other than obviously where the price is relative to the strike price, that's a pretty good setup there. Mara's at 10.32. The put strikes at $10. So, you'll be in the money if it just drops 30 cents. But other than that, an added bonus to pay attention to is going to be the sweep volume. As we've all noted as a group, we noticed that if you look historically on some of these specials that have paid the most, like the ones that paid out over like 1,000% plus, I looked through them and all of them had a high proportion of sweep volume in the feeds. So that's just an added bonus. It doesn't have to have sweep volume. If a special comes in, these feeds are designed to profit. They're built for profit. So the sweep is just an added bonus. So just keep that in mind. Other than that, you're going to want to look at the contract performance. Take note of where this contract was traded and also pay attention to where the contract is trading on the day. So if the contract was traded like this one here at 79 cents, and we look at the high and the low of the contract for today, we can see that the high of the contract today was $1.15. The low was 77 cents. So this trade was made near the low of the day, which, using common sense, I can tell you that is a good thing when it comes to this option. You would want it to be bought near the low, not the high, because although these are a very likely buy to open trade, it's not guaranteed. There is always going to be an off chance that this could be a buy to close. So that being said, that is why you want to assess some of these metrics in these feeds, such as contract performance. Was it traded near the high or near the low? If it's trading near the high, it may be wise to avoid it. Not always, but it's just that common sense layer that you can add on just by, thinking just a little bit about what makes sense. But in this case, traded near today's low, which is ideal. And then finally, you're going to want to look at the dollar cost because that is relevant. How big was the bet? This one here is bigger than most of the specials that come in, $1.8 million. That is a pretty hefty bet there. And we did have quite a bit of volume come in as well at 23,000 volume near the low of the day. So that's basically it for specials. Again, these have a very, very high success rate in the long run. The overall average is down from its peak. These peaked in, I believe it was early April. We were up to, it was 89%, but we have since fallen after all this time to 84.6%, which is still a very, very, very high win rate for these specials. And obviously, no strategy is ever going to win 100%. At least that's what they say. But we're always going to be gearing and working towards that goal. But if you have a plan for entry and exit, it's over time you're going to see positive results. Okay, and then the newest set of feeds that we have, and personally, these are my new favorites that I've been playing for the last few days. Had very, 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 very good success with these. Is the upside slash downside momentum scalp channels. Now there are 4 of these. There's 2 for the daily and 2 for the hourly. I personally have only been trading the hourly. That's not to say that the daily feeds are bad or that they don't work. It's just I haven't gotten around to testing those areas as far as how well they are profiting and panning out for the feeds that come in. But the hourly, I can say with certainty, they are doing very, very, very well. And what these feeds, what they're doing, it's kind of taking what we already know and have learned about, the core logic. It's taking a couple of metrics from that and combining them together, and it's looking for tickers with a MACD cross that is imminent or is about to happen, paired with either an oversold or overbought RSI in the direction of the feed. So the downside momentum scalps on the right are going to be for puts or for shorting if you're into shares. And it's going to be feeds where the RSI is overbought and the MACD cross is about to occur bearish, meaning going from green to red. And then on the left-hand side, your bullish momentum scalps on the hour is going to have an oversold RSI or near oversold. It doesn't have to be oversold. You just want it to be near oversold. And then an imminent MACD cross to the upside or from red to green. And with these feeds as well, I've actually included a lot of explanatory notes in there, like the before jumping in check marks, letting you know to make sure to check the spread. And these are ones that all of these feeds are not going to be plays you can just jump in, because some of these will have bad spreads. Some of these will, be illiquid. Not all of them are going to be your ideal candidates, but you can kind of go through and you'll know the tickers when you see them. Like Kroger, it's a good one. It's a popular ticker, household name. But if you get one that you're not really sure of, that you haven't heard of, that you don't really hear a lot of trading activity going on in that ticker, you may just want to verify the spread. Make sure you're not going to screw yourself on a wide bid-ask spread, because that will be not good to get yourself into that situation. So always check the spread. Look for a call IV skew as a bonus if you are going to the upside. If you're going to the downside, look for a put IV skew as a bonus. And if you're still in the group and you're confused about what a put skew or a call skew is, all that means is that wherever the IV is, as far as the lowest IV, is it above the current price or below the current price? So if a hour upside momentum play comes in and there is a call skew or the lowest IV is above the current price, that is ideal. Opposite's true for puts. Albeit put skews are more rare than call skews. If you happen to get a downside momentum scalp and it happens to have a put skew or where the lowest IV is below the current price, that is a added bonus, kind of like how the sweeps was an added bonus for the specials. If you get that skew to go along with the direction of your play, it's an added bonus, and it's going to increase your chances of profit that much more. So again, it's very, very simple. You have everything here explained on these feeds. You have your volume analysis for the underlying. You have your 52-week status. You have your average cost basis across all players. You have the percentage of traders profiting on the ticker, short interest, and then your latest news headlines and things like that. So everything you need kind of all in one place. These have been very great. Been very happy with these. They're using just simple logic that works more times than not, which is the whole point. So looking at the charts, whenever these come in, this is UDR. This is the downside momentum scalp, one of the more recent ones that came in. And this is, in essence, how it works. The alerts come in here. And, whenever the RSI is near that overbought point, the MACD is about to cross bearish. And this is just happens to be this way. They're not always going to be in between two gaps like that, but just showing you for reference when the alert came into the Discord versus what you're looking at on the technicals. And that's essentially what you're exploiting right there. Then looking on the contra side, on the call side for Kroger, if you look at the alert here, the alert comes in, the RSI is near oversold, and the MACD is about to cross bullish. That's basically it. It's that simple. And obviously, since you're going to be playing on the hour time frame in the case of these alerts, use that to your advantage. And it goes back to that question: when should I buy or sell? Wait for the move to happen, because most of the time, not always, but 99% of the time when these come in, the MACD will not have crossed yet, and the RSI should be near oversold if it's a call, or the opposite if it's a put. And that's the exploit, is you're trying to exploit that momentum from the cross plus the RSI correction. And again, everything that I've discussed so far in this video is not magic. We have all observed everything that I've said, including the skews, Yishay, which, by the way, Yishay, if you're out there listening, remember when you laughed and you said, IV skews tell the direction, huh? Well, yeah, they do, buddy, because if you go back and you look, whenever we discovered these, go look at what the markets have done since then. Pretty fucking hilarious. But yeah, I mean, this is all coming from in-depth, hands-on research every single day for the last 2 years. And at some point, us all collectively doing this is going to pay off in the long run, because we are collectively learning, we're getting better, we're finding out what works, what doesn't work, and now we're developing systems to automate what we know works and bring us the opportunities to where we don't even have to look at charts anymore. And then last but not least, the core logic. It's been core to this group. It's still viable to this day. I wanted to show you how you can check the core logic for any of those who may be confused on what or where to look for these plays. And if you're in the group and you're not sure what the core logic is, at this point, it's become the lifeblood of the group. I'm fairly certain everyone knows what it is. If you don't, just ask someone in the group or ask me. I'll give you a brief rundown. I've made several videos on it. There's stuff all over the Discord about it. Just ask for help in this regard if you're stuck with the core logic. It's a little bit slower paced game than most of us are accustomed to at this point in time. But to check the core plays, all you got to do is go anywhere in the Discord where you can type a message, type /data, and then the big data prompt will come up. Just click the core calls button for your core calls and click the core puts button for your core puts. And you'll have a nice list displayed right there in Discord. And that's basically all there is to it. By the way, NVIDIA is on the core puts list. Just wanted to point that out. But yeah, that's basically it for core. So again, if you're expecting more than this, you're way overthinking it. What I just showed you is a lot that you can use to your advantage. And it's not even everything. Those are just the things that I personally feel comfortable about reiterating and creating processes for and explaining how I do it. So again, these markets have been tricky. We've been trading in one of the most difficult times in history when it comes to market finance. So the fact that we're still here, we're still making it, says a lot. And I'm really excited for the future because we are getting better as a group collectively. I see it. I see it happening. Our tools are getting better. Our feeds are getting better. Our systems are getting better. And, more and more people are starting to kill it, which is what I want to see, which is what this is all about. And anyone that may be out there looking at this video who may want to experience this or get in the group, I'm not going to turn people away. I'm just not going to whore the group out. If you want to join the group, get on Discord, contact me at Charlie's Vids, or, you can even leave a comment. I might be able to see it here. The group's open if you would like to join, but I'm not going to let people in who just want, give me. It's not a handout factory. It's not a hand-holding convention. This is somewhere where we have intelligent human beings who all want the same thing, who are all willing to put forth a little capital, myself included, to keep the lights on. Because again, this stuff that we're using, these tools, these data services that we have are not free, especially the redistribution. It is expensive because of the exchange rules, Oprah, and things like that. It is super expensive to be able to use this data the way that we're using it, which is the whole point of why we've approached this the way we have. because look what it's got us. I mean, look where we're at now compared to where we started. It's really great. We should be able to very consistently scale wealth with these tools we have and using what we know works. And if something is identified as not to work, or if we understand that something is no longer working, we're not going to harp on it. We're going to adapt. Because again, specials may be great now, but in 6 months from now, there may be something in its place. You just never know, because we're adapting, we're evolving with the markets. Now, what about other play avenues? Well, there's probably several more that exist just within the Discord alone. Again, I've only covered a few of our play opportunities that are streamlined that I feel like are good enough to go over. But there's definitely more opportunities that any of us could discover. It's just waiting for that person to run the experiment and backtest the strategy. Anybody here can create a strategy. You just have to make sure it works and test it first. And if it happens to be in a channel that none of us ever use, if you found something that works, please share. That's what this is all about. Collective research. There's, a lot of eyes on this stuff every day. If we all come together and we, figure out this works over this and this works over this, that is how we tighten up our success rate and increase everyone's well-being in the group. So while this is not a collective investment effort, this is a collective research effort. And, it's been awesome to see this group pull together the way they have, especially in the more difficult times. Really great to see, and I appreciate each and every one of you, and I appreciate what we have. It's a great tool. It's saved my ass personally. I thought I was done trading. I was down to my last $200 not too long ago. And, using our system alone, I pulled myself out of it, and I'm back in it, and then some, just by being consistent and learning from my mistakes. And if I can do it, anybody can. So hopefully this helped. If you're still struggling with options, talk to the group. I have no issue explaining how options work, how to approach it from a mentality standpoint, because it's not like shares. You don't want to approach this with price targets in mind, with news headlines in mind. You're just looking for momentum, but that's another topic for another video. I'm going to keep this one relevant to what we talked about in this one as far as the feeds. I hope this helped someone in the group learn how to at least organize and set up their Discord the way they want, so they don't have to be overly confused about all the different channels and all the things going on in the Discord. So again, appreciate you all, and have a good one. Let's have a good month.